Hey folks, I figured I'd do another sort of audio only video because I want to tell a story and I don't want to be distracted by the blandness of the background. I'm just sort of laying in bed here. Uh, I'm up and I'm dressed, but sort of took a break. Went out and looked in the garden. Oh, shout out to Hiram. Yeah, thanks for your text chats on there. I've just been too busy working on the house to really get back onto Facebook or anything. So, anyhow, just wanted to say I'm happy about your garden doing well, and I'm sorry to hear that your mother's getting ill, Hiram. So, anyhow, shout out to my buddy there down South Louisiana. Um, I wanted to go ahead and relate this story. It's sort of embarrassing, and I have been somewhat self conscious lately because, I mean, I'm pretty open about my opinions and like my opinion on that insane person that's decided to unilaterally invade Europe, you know, uh, Hitler Jr. over there. And I got distracted by a conversation about the apparition of Our Lady of Fatima. So, Hiram, you might be interested in that, you know. I mean, didn't we come to the conclusion that it was something about Russia was supposed to accept the Sacred Heart of the Virgin Mary, or accept that the phenomenon was real, or that God is real, or whatever? I don't know. Like I'm really curious what the actual message was. Like, I'd like to see it and hear it from her own lips. Like if they had a video of the what was her name, Lucia or whichever, the one that lived the longest, the little girl at Fatima that saw the mother, the Virgin Mary. Anyways, it was an interesting conversation on Witness Citizen, cool channel if you're into UFO stuff and or the crossover between religious concepts, religion and spirituality. Say that 10 times fast. Not easy with fake teeth, huh? I'm still getting used to this permanent bridge that I've got, and I think I already chipped it the other day too. Munching on hard candy. No, so I got to thinking about this sort of experience I had the other night, and the self-conscious thing. Well, this guy goes around, he sends out agents to stab his enemies with plutonium darts and micro dots of ricin poison, and he has all these sort of assassin tactics. It's like, yeah, I gotta stay out of that, as long as I'm able to stay out of it, But I don't know, I'm still really sort of concerned about the threat of nuclear war. This is just, I guess, my upbringing. Growing up during the 1980s. I saw this guy, Brandon Fugel, I think is his name. I don't know. I don't really watch TV, but I saw him an interview on this channel. I don't really watch them often unless they have somebody on there that I've heard about through some other channel. Maybe that. So I went ahead and watched this interview on this channel that I don't really watch, like I said, much, just because it's like I'm I'm skeptical of them simply because they appear or act to be somewhat skeptical about the UFO or UAP phenomenon. I'm just gonna call it the phenomenon in general, okay? Because everybody's got a ghost story. This is what was in the conversation earlier. Everyone's got a ghost story, so it's a relatable thing. This is a human connection. Either you believe in your friend that's telling you the story, about the fish that got away, or the ghost, or something their ex-husband did, or something their ex-wife did. Whatever it is, either you believe this person or you don't, and for whatever reasons. So, I mean, I'm fairly good at telling when someone's lying to me these days. I used to be extremely naive and gullible, I guess you would call it. I just sort of took everyone at face value, like, hey, I mean, I'm brutally honest, so I'm just assuming that they're being brutally honest, and we're just trying to convey ideas. We're not here to misinform or disinform or confuse anyone or tempt anyone or whatever, but I'm suspicious of I'm suspicious of those who are suspicious, right? So if someone says, "Oh, I got to stop the Nazi invasion," well, maybe they're planning Nazi invasion or something, or if you see something like that, then you're like, well, hey, uh, like this whole situation over there in Europe, you know, I mean, I'm getting two different stories. Like, I'm getting one stories on the news, the old school news, right? Or the what you call legacy media, and I'm hearing another story just out on the street, just from neighbors or people I talk to. Oh yeah, this Putin's a great guy. We love him or whatever. He's stopping the Nazis. I'm like, man, I'm seeing a whole different set of Nazis. you know, uh, it's like, which Nazis are we talking about here? Uh, so yeah, it's kind of starting to look very World War III ish, like the nuclear bombs could fall at any minute if someone doesn't get their story straight, right? So, right. Well, bless her heart, she's all over the news, so she's doing better than me. Or she's all over the internet. I can't really say it's the news. This is my new news. Since I don't really watch TV, I don't have cable, so I'm not watching all these popular shows on History Channel and all this, but that would be what I would call news around here, maybe. But people watch Fox a lot, so it seems to be just the right arm of the Russian Empire, as far as I can tell. Um, it's obviously not American news for the benefit of Americans or American security. This Fox Entertainment, it's just entertainment for like racist old white people or something. I don't know. I don't really get what their business model is at Fox anymore, and AM radio is just totally unbearable. There's literally nothing on there except it's either like sort of the skewed form of Christian propaganda that seems to be highly racist at its core, or it's just trying to make people feel more insecure. So like, you gotta buy dry beans, you gotta buy bullets. What are you gonna do when the Mexicans take over your whole country? Well, that fat fucker's dead. So, oh, sorry for the f bomb. Well, this audio is not made for children. This is just me trying to talk to my buddy down there in South Louisiana about what I'm seeing. What I'm seeing is really AM radio is dead until they bring back some sort of thoughtful intellectual entertainment, peacetime entertainment. Or if we're not at peacetime, I think maybe people should be like, just be more forthcoming. Hey, we're fixing to have a nuclear war. Go ahead and move to the interior room. Start preparing canned foods and MREs or whatever. So anyhow, there's really just no news is good news at this point. Or I'm just like, oh yeah, another Russian tank got blown up. Good. I feel sorry for the little Russian soldiers that are in there that don't really know how to fight an insurgency. Um, but aside from that, there's what am I to look at for entertainment? So I was listening to this channel and thought, well, I wonder if I'd talk about this experience or not, because like I was somewhat intoxicated, I should say. It was very late at night, it was like in the middle of the night. So ghost stories, the middle of the night, you're alone, there's no video, it's just all hearsay. It's just this one person, you know, just this one person telling you, well, he's right off. He's crazy, right? Just write him off. He's crazy. He don't know what he saw. Well, that's true. I don't have a clue what I saw. But I'm gonna go ahead and tell you people anyway what I think I saw. Uh, so I was looking for something else. It was the middle of the night. Oh, I found out recently I'm blind, and I really need bifocals to see anything. I can't see anything up close. Can't see anything far away either. So I couldn't find what I was looking for, and I think maybe I wanted to light a cigarette with my solar battery thing. Anyhow, I got these three solar batteries over here inside. I brought them in to clean up, and I never really cleaned them up. And they need probably water added to them and put back out on the solar panels. Or I need to go ahead and run that thick cable. I got a lot of work to do to get my solar battery thing going again and ready, So I'm just using a little bit as I can. And anyhow, it's the middle of the night. I'm probably high. Okay, and this was a couple weeks ago. Couldn't find what I was looking for. Wanted to light a cigar or something, and it's the middle of the night. And again, I'm not really one to believe in ghosts or hauntings and things like that. So, well, I'm looking at the battery, and I couldn't make out what I was seeing. It was just like it was blurry or more blurry than normal. It's like, God, where are my glasses? And then I was like, what is that? So then I looked over there and I saw found my glasses. And I was like, it looked like one of the batteries was foaming over. And when you first wake up, it's easy to go in a panic if you wake up and see something you're not expecting to see. So I'm kind of like I said, I'm half asleep. It's the middle of the night. I'm trying to light a cigar or something. I see my batteries it's blurry, and then all of a sudden it looks like it's spilling over with foam. And I was like, what over? It's foaming over, and I just go into panic. I look, I see my glasses. I grab my glasses. I look, and it's like it's moving, and I'm like, foam normally just it's gonna bubble and bubbles are gonna pop, but it's basically stays in one place. This was like sort of moving around and hovering over the battery and not really coming out of it, and it wasn't foam in the normal sense. And I backed up and I got into focus, and it was like this foam of bubbles, but they were like sort of moving around each other, almost like it looked like a colony of it looked like a colony of bacteria under a microscope, except they weren't dividing. They were just like sort of swirling around each other, almost like they were talking to each other. And they had like a little black dot at the center of each one. And then I was trying to focus, like, what am I looking at? It's like a swarm of bees or something inside these little clear bubbles. But then I looked, and they looked like they were eyes, and then it's like they were looking at me for a second, and I kind of like, whoa, jump back, and like what are you, and like uh, trying to get it back, a little bit into more focus. Like I'm literally like just 2 feet above the batteries and like a foot above whatever. This was like about a foot, about the size of a basketball, foot size blob of foamy whateverness, that I'm seeing. And then, when I sort of jumped back in surprise, like, hey, they're all looking at me, whatever they were. Literally, I just had the sense that there was a living form of something there with all these eyes, almost like a compound eye. It was like I was looking at this compound eye blob of jelly thing or whatever. I don't know. That's the impression I got, and it kind of startled me. But I was a little just so too tired or too stoned or whatever to panic over it. I just sort of, oh well, and I was like, well, and I just kind of laid back in the bed, and as far as I know, I just went on back to sleep, and then I just kind of like later the next day, I guess I, woke up, just sort of went through my morning routine, got my coffee at the store, and just kind of puttering around the garden, thinking about how I need to clean the house, and not really getting anything done either. and just sort of, ruminating. And I remembered this, and I was like, wow, I guess maybe it's telling me I need to get back to work on my solar batteries. But what we're like, is this something that lives inside the battery? Saying, hey, this battery needs water, or, hey, this battery's low on charge. It was just the battery on the end there. I don't know. I mean, was there me? In other words, instead of trying to just figure out what it was I saw, like, was it an alien? Was it a ghost? Was it an apparition of, from the afterlife or whatever? like, I mean, from a scientific point of view, just say, oh, well, it's just a hallucination, sleep it off, don't do it again, whatever, you know, um, don't drink so much next time or whatever. Uh, yeah, I mean, there's just, we're past that point. I feel like I'm past that point. It's like, okay, I know I'm not alone. Something's living here or lives around here. There's all sorts of things lives around. Earlier today, I saw like this woolly worm thing that, perhaps at some point as a child that would have terrified me. Like, oh, it's this creepy bug, kill it. That instinct to kill is really a horrible thing that humans still have, I think. So, that's part of the reason why, like I said, I've been trying to go vegan, which is very hard to do. Um, but yeah, I figured I'd just go ahead and convey, relate the experience, kind of put it out there on the record. But what it was, what I actually saw, is this emergent complexity? Is this some sort of a electrical creature that lives inside the battery, or is it something about the water? There's, as again brought up in the conversation earlier about scientists. Our scientists don't know probably the first thing about our oceans or the water. Our modern medical system too is this seems to be going down all these blind alleys where they just want to treat symptoms without really addressing you know, what may be wrong with someone that's causing their ill health or feeling bad or whatever. Um, I mean, I think science has the answers if the culture would accept them. There was this guy Brzezinski. There's a long documentary on this Brzezinski guy who, basically everyone he treated with this stuff, it cured him. He did a very simple experiment. He was trying to give cancer to rats, and certain rats would just simply, he couldn't get them sick. They just would never get the cancer, or some rats are just healthier than others, just naturally. So he didn't really look at their genetics. He just looked at their proteins and their body chemistry, and he found, the ones that would get sick were deficient in this protein. The ones that never got sick, the rats that he couldn't give them cancer, they had plenty of this particular protein. He found out a way to synthesize it. I guess he's just a brilliant chemist. But he found out a way to synthesize this protein that they were missing, either from their diet or just because their DNA didn't make it. Genetic propensity to have cancer, or because of some, toxin in the environment. We know that lots of toxins in the environment are man-made toxins introduced into the environment cause cancer in humans, or rats at least. Oh, I'm sorry, only known in the state of California to cause cancer in rats. Okay, disclaimer there. Well, this guy apparently found a very simple cure for cancer. Give the body the deficiency, synthesize the protein that the body's deficient in, introduce it into the body. Everybody that took the drug, the protein, the medicine, was cured. And so he was suppressed. They tried to arrest the guy. What's that all about? Thought for the day. Science could and probably has already cured your cancer a long time ago. So if you got it now, you're pretty much on your own because they're not letting you have the cure. It was actually patented by somebody, and they're not delivering it to the public. They've not even made the public aware of it. Oh yeah, the guy was on Geraldo and all this stuff that used to exist, and he was on TV for a minute, but there wasn't enough public outcry apparently, and so that cure for cancer is gone. There was a guy who built a water burning car, Stanley Meyer. Again, back to the water. Well, these could be some sort of emergent life form that literally is just based on water. And they may live way longer than humans' normal lifespan, too. So, who knows what their agendas are? This gets into the so called alien agenda. Again, I'm not really calling them aliens anymore. I'm just saying that there's unknown life. There's science. I mean, there's life that's unknown to science does exist on this planet. And probably there's all sorts of life that we just can't identify on other planets. That there could be life in forms that we're not even aware it's actually alive. Again, like crystals. Crystals grow very slowly. So what if there's this crystal based living thing, but it's on such a slow timeline, it's not even aware of humans. I mean, we're like a temporary infection on the planet if the planet itself is alive, too, is another thing. And, now we're coming up with artificial intelligence, consciousness, or whatever. So, machine consciousness, machine awareness. Well, this is, hey, am I just a cog in a machine, or do I have free will or not? There's going to be some serious backlash against these scientists that are trying to say that humans don't have any free will. Well, if you don't have any free will, that lets you off the hook for all sorts of bad behaviors, and you don't want the robots believing that kind of. Robots going around just doing whatever they want. That's the Terminator apocalypse, by the way. Back to this Brandon Fugal. He talked about building like a museum of like American culture. I thought that was an interesting idea. At some university, I'm not sure if this. I wish it was at LSU or something, or somewhere close I could reach pretty easily. Uh, but yeah, a museum to American culture, you know, or museum of culture of the 20th century maybe or something like that. I don't know. The guy has like some stage props from like the original Terminator and stuff. So I thought that was interesting. I have some classic science fiction novels. Just the artwork, cover artwork alone should be preserved and digitized. But the books themselves, some of them pretty good story. A lot of it's just, cheap pulp fiction from the 40s, 50s, 60s, and 70s. But the artwork was so great. The science fiction artwork was so awesome in the mid 20th century. I really feel like these old fiction books should be preserved, even though I'm not really. That was all my dad's creation. So it's somewhat about preserving his legacy too, but shared with the public because there's just so many. Just like I said, the artwork alone, there could be a whole digital museum. I just don't have a decent way to digitize them and get them in there. I mean, I know a lot of them, the copyrights have probably expired or have not been maintained. Some of them are classics, though, that there's copyright laws to consider. Classic science fiction novels. But anyhow, yeah, I figured I was been debating. I've been so self-conscious lately, and I mean, I know people think I'm crazy, and hey, I might be. I'm not a danger to anybody, though. So, uh, crazy or not, I'm going to continue pursuing the free energy concepts because the UFOs or UAPs or whatever they are, angels, aliens, or ultra terrestrials, or just higher dimensional beings or light beings. I saw this thing with light. I mean, I had to turn the light on to see this thing hovering over my batteries bank there. Yeah, it was just sort of looked like a cloud of bubbles that weren't really popping. It wasn't normal foam. And I knew something wasn't right. And it seemed to be coming like out of the batteries or just right there on top of my batteries in the corner there. And so I grabbed my glasses and I was shocked at what I saw when I got it into focus. And I couldn't really make it out. And the closer, the more I looked, I was like, what are you? And then I was like, all of you, because it seemed like it was all these little eyes that were, it was almost like they were questioning me at the same time. Like, oh, what are you? Well, I'm the guy that puts water in the battery that y'all live in. Whatever you alien battery bugs are. But it was a really strange sort of visual encounter, very close encounter. I mean, I have never been that close to any sort of what I would call, I guess just, yeah, like unknown creature. I'll just call it a cryptid. I've never been that close to a cryptid creature, thing that I don't know what it was. I have no idea what it was. Um, it could have just been some sort of brain fog, hallucination. It could have been just the remnants of a dream crossing over because I was half awake, and a little inebriated. I will admit. Um, but so for what it's worth, that kind of muddies the waters there. But personally, yeah, personally, I got a sort of a message out of it. The message I got was, just hey, just do your own thing, pull your own line, get back to working on the solar power, get back to trying to do the clean energy stuff, uh, hydrogen torch, hydrogen stove, and all that, powered directly from the sun or from recycled metal, recycled waste goods, 100% recycled consumer, post-consumer waste, and that's basically what I do. You know, I'm the environmental activist guy, and merely interested in the UAP UFO topic because of these occasional, it's usually several months, often, sometimes years in between experiencing anything that seems out of the normal to me. I'd be curious to know, like, if the aliens are real, what they think about this idiot Putin and his decision to unilaterally invade a peaceful country, in Eastern Europe, and murdering a lot of innocent women, children, and civilians too. How would the angels feel about this guy murdering innocent women and children? Think about that. If you were an angel, what would you feel about this man murdering innocent women and children? I'm talking about Putin. Thanks for listening.